Oh man, what's today's category, gentlemen?
GDI, right?
Yeah, another listener suggested topic.
Who was the listener?
I do not recall.
Yeah, you'd have to look that up
we're
real
gonna
quick.
Give that kind
But
of
give him a shout
here.
out, yeah. But I wanted to hear about gasoline direct injection.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the
How it
question
worked,
was specifically
tuning,
about
specifics.
injectors.
Well, tuning. I thought it was tuning differences between
Yeah.
Okay.
port injection and.
But in
Direct
order to hit
injection.
on that, we need to, I think, explain a little more in depth how it works.
Yep.
Or at least as much as we know about it.
I spent like 10 minutes Googling this today,
Yeah,
and
so-
it
More than
was
me and Kevin.
exactly what I knew.
Well, that's good.
Like I didn't find any new information. I
Okay.
just confirmed what I thought was correct was actually correct.
So, today's suggestion is from engineering_RAH, R-A-H. And thank you for the suggestion.
Thanks, Ra.
Hopefully we can answer some questions
Ha.
for you. But yeah, what else is going on? Daily ramblings first, and then direct injection stuff?
Sure.
Okay, well, someone go first. Oh my god, fine.
We just need to set an order and just.
Yeah,
stick
no,
with
I
it.
know.
Yeah.
Dave starts.
So,
Dave starts.
Um, timing guides for the Moto 4. I ordered them a week or so ago. I was hoping they would be here this week. Gave the place a call, and
Bike
they
Bandit?
go, huh?
Is it Bike Bandit?
No.
Oh.
Power Sports
Okay.
in Toledo, Ohio.
Oh,
Bike
you
Bandit
wanna-
doesn't really have the tiny stuff.
They have tiny stuff.
So
But every time I order from them, they like mess up the due date. Like it just seems like forever.
I've had that problem several times with them, and then I kind of gave up. So like Partzilla,
So,
it's my
yeah.
recent go-to.
So ordered. Didn't get a shipping notification. Big surprise. So I call him and I go, "Hey, just want to know when these are going to ship out." And he goes, "Oh, we don't have them yet."
Oh,
Oh.
And for all of us sitting here, it's funny just because it is. But yeah. So I got a shipping notification yesterday. So hopefully they'll be here maybe tomorrow. I mean, they're only coming from Toledo, so it really shouldn't take that long. But if not, then I'll wait till next week. And then hopefully I can get the Moto 4 back together, and it stops spewing oil smoke everywhere.
yeah.
Boy, I feel like people have been spoiled by Amazon. If they can't get it like
No,
tomorrow,
really.
they're like, ugh.
It's
the
so
worst.
bad.
100%.
It's affected me, and I hate it.
the
I
instant
hate that I
gratification is like-
have that expectation now.
Well, it would be different because like I wouldn't even order it off the store. I'd pay the extra money if I could go to a store and get it. Like at this point, I'm like if it's available for me to go pick it up right now,
it's
I'll go
tough
get it.
though, because smaller power sports stores like don't have like retail
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, there's like a-
most of the time, if there's a small enough one, like they might just list all their stuff on eBay.
Yeah.
And then you have really no good way of knowing that it's actually nearby.
Right.
So I noticed that about there's a place right down the street from work, that place with the warehouse
Cycles
or whatever,
R Us,
Cycles
yeah.
R Us.
Oh, okay.
They stock all that stuff, but they don't really have like a good website. But they sell it all on eBay.
Okay.
So that's an option.
That makes sense. There's up by my parents. There's a shade tree that we used to go to get all of our little 4-wheeler parts and motorcycle stuff. But obviously, I don't feel like driving an hour and a half to Shade Tree from here.
There's a Yamaha dealer on Manchester that just closed. They've got like some OG bike that looks like it was brand new in the crate from like 1982. Sitting in
really?
the front window for sale. It's been for sale forever.
Why don't you buy it, Mike?
Because it's probably a lot more money than I'm interested in.
Yeah, that's probably true.
What about that place that was up kind of near the hospital near work? It was up, I don't know what the name of that street is.
Oh.
There was a power sports place right there.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
it
know
still
what
is.
you're talking about.
Is it
Yes,
still there? I
it's
wasn't
still
sure
there.
if it was still there.
I bought oil from there last year.
I feel like I haven't been to like an actual power sports store in so long.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're
it's
kinda
so
dying.
tempting.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
they're kind of dying.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to go buy the brand new side-by-side from them. That's about it.
Right, or the new Polaris Razor that's $70,000. But no one here is doing that.
No.
We'll stick with our $300 Moto 4s that cost everything $30 to fix it.
Yeah, give us another 20, 30 years before like side-by-sides are more plentiful.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
They
I need
haven't
the
been around
blown-out
long
one.
enough to be cheap.
Right.
By then they'll be electric, and that would be something else. Oh,
That would be a lot of
speaking
fun,
of
actually.
electric, not to derail real quick in daily ramblings.
We're rambling. You can't derail.
Someone passed me in an electric motorcycle the other day. It scared the shit out of me. I was just driving, and all I heard was and it just passed me, and I was like, holy shit, he's like cooking it, and I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know what it was. He was going pretty quick.
I don't know of any, like, at least common, like, commonly available ones other than the Harley.
Yeah.
No, there's tons of them out there, like no-name ones that
Yeah.
are all
No,
over.
I know.
Yeah, no, it
right.
was, but it was going, and it came out of nowhere, and I was like, good thing I like kind of heard you.
Yeah.
Should be like the electric race cars. Do they have to have like a siren on
Yeah.
or
I
something
feel like
that? That
I
would
feel like
be
if they
horrible.
took
That would
all
ruin
of
it for
the-
me if I had to listen to that the whole time.
Yeah,
if they
no way.
took all the Harley boys that have all their giant radios on their bikes that are just loud as shit, and they just put those all on the electric bikes, and they had to listen to them always.
Mandatory
Right,
radio.
You just like
mandatory-
change your mode.
yeah.
You could be like potato bike mode, like race bike mode. Just have
Yeah.
it like make
Right.
noise for when you use the throttle.
Yeah, because like it was quiet. And I was very surprised when it passed me.
I went down the
Yeah,
YouTube rabbit
never
hole the other
witnessed
day
one.
for those.
Yeah.
Like, just kind of reviews. Like Amazon has some cheap ones that
Yeah.
like, or
My
like
dad
Chinese ones.
sent me a link. He's like, "Hey, I think I need one of these," and I'm like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah. It's like $2,000 for one shipped to your door.
Yeah, it's
I'm like,
crazy.
Whoa.
Speaking of
That's
Amazon, they sell them on there too.
They
Right.
sell electric motorcycles on Amazon
Yeah.
for $2,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What?
yeah,
Okay, well, shit.
pretty wild.
Is that going to be next on the list of things for everyone to buy? I feel like $2,000's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's
Like
too,
to just blow.
too rich for my blood.
Like, I'd rather buy another car, honestly, or at least a fun car.
It's
But
hard to say.
yeah,
It's one of those things, man. If I hopped on one, it might sway me pretty hard.
Yeah.
And I'm almost kind of afraid to for that reason.
I rode like a little prototype thing they had at Brown University like
yeah.
more like 15 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and that was pretty good. Like the
Yeah.
power delivery was pretty surprising.
Yeah.
I feel like there's
Man.
there's a huge learning curve between riding like a regular gas motorcycle and riding an electric one, because it's immediate torque on a motorcycle is it's kind of scary
except
to
for
think
they don't
about, actually.
deliver it that way.
Yeah. Well, there's
because
a
it would be like unrideable.
yeah, like a limiter, I guess.
There's
it
gonna
would
be like a curve to
Yeah.
it, a curve
Yeah.
to the power.
Well, that's all I have.
Hmm.
So, what's up, Kevin?
I don't have much. I still don't have a title. That's
Do
where
we
I'm
need to
at.
go to this guy's house?
I
Should
don't
we go
know.
to his house?
CAD to Cars road trip.
Maybe. Might have to. I mean, on the brink of giving up with this and just parting it out.
What? I don't. Will you stop? Stop.
Motors are taking up space now, and
Oh. Why don't you just go to the guy's fucking house and get the title?
I don't know what's going on.
Go to his house. Call him and say,
Yeah.
I'm coming right now. We'll go with you.
He won't answer. He's been
Yeah,
trying to
like,
call.
You know where he lives. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We can just
Yeah.
wait at his house at some point.
Yeah.
Hey, guy, give us the title.
Someone wants to take a ride on
Bring your
Saturday. I
camping
guess
gear.
we can head down there.
Well, it's only an hour. Right?
Hour and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you bought a car. You had an
Right.
agreement.
Yeah.
He's just effing off on the title. Either
Yeah,
he gives you the title or we take it. I guess. At this
You take
point.
the title.
Yeah.
You take the piece of paper that's inside someone's house.
I have my ways.
We got to stop there. This is
Tough
public
guy
record.
here.
Yeah, it is public record. That's true. But no, we're just kidding. But yeah, no, I would call him and see. Have you talked to him at all?
Keep calling every day. Nothing.
Does
It's
he have a-
weird.
does he have
Have
a
you
wife
left
or-
it-
does
like,
he
have
a
you left
wife or a
messages?
girlfriend,
Like
or-
the voicemail's full.
Oh, jeez.
Is this guy okay?
I don't know.
I hope he's okay, at least.
Maybe.
Have you tried Facebooking?
Yep.
Jeez.
He hasn't seen the messages.
Like people weren't like posting RIP on his like page or
Oh,
anything.
It's
No.
not public, so I don't know.
Okay.
I guess I should send him a friend request, but at that point,
Yeah, do that.
what's the difference?
I don't know.
All right, I'll send him a friend request.
Yeah,
Do it
no,
now.
yeah, do it right now.
I haven't done
Yeah,
anything.
you said he found his fiance.
Yeah, no, because
Ooh,
like
yeah, friend request
no,
her too.
If
Yeah.
you can't, if you're not
If
friends
you
with
can't have
someone
your
on
title,
messages,
steal his girl.
if you can't.
Marketplace
if you're not
messages are
friends with them on
different.
Facebook, you won't see the messages. It goes to a different category.
If
of
you've already
messages.
had a
No, no,
discussion.
no, no.
Yeah, if you've
Yeah,
already had
it's
a
already
discussion
like a
on
marketplace
Marketplace.
thing that's
Oh,
still
okay.
going, and
Oh,
he's
okay.
like, I can see when he sees messages and stuff. And
Yeah.
Well, that's
I
unfortunate.
I don't know what's happening. So yeah, I did a very little amount of creeping and found his fiance.
Hmm.
So I was debating sending her a message, but
Do it.
Yeah, why not?
Is hers private or are people saying sorry for your loss on her page?
that's also
or-
private. Yes.
Okay.
So I don't.
I would send her a friend request too.
I mean, he could be in jail. It could be in the hospital. I don't know. It could be anything, but
Well, he's still got your title that you paid for,
yeah.
so don't give up yet.
All right. Well, we'll send the message. Do
Yeah.
it live.
We'll do it live.
Doing it live.
Do it right now.
Maybe we'll get updates. As
I had
we
it
go.
drafted, and I was like, maybe, I don't know. Just feel like that's, it was his Facebook profile. I looked at like who liked it. There was only like 8 people. I was like, okay, this has got to be one of them.
How
And
old
it
is this
said
guy?
24.
Oh,
Is he one of those weird millennials that doesn't
He
have
age
seems
or
fine. He's,
scumbaggery.
there's a, dude lives in the middle of nowhere. He's just a working dude that likes his, trucks and dirt bikes and has a,
so you have face tats?
no.
like
know.
scumbagging people out of their money, not giving them titles?
I don't, but no. So I did look up by the VIN
Yeah.
and found out that the lien has been canceled, as in it's been paid off.
Okay.
Exactly when he told me it was, back in February, and that's
Right.
when he listed it for sale, and that's when it got parked. Everything lines up.
Yeah, no, I mean,
The
it
only
makes
thing
sense.
that's happening is no communication, which I don't understand, because why would you even want the title at that point unless you plan on stealing it out of my garage again?
Well, technically, it's not stealing it if it's still in his name, so.
Not with a bill of sale, it's signed.
Well, right. Well, no, can't you get a title with the bill of
feel
sale?
like a title
No.
would still win.
You can't. But
I know there's like a time limit
but
stipulation
like you'd
on
have
that
to
here.
get into my garage.
You could
you
get
have
it.
to know where you live
Put the
first
thing.
of all.
Well, he knows where I live because I gave him the address to send the title to.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
He'd have to get in the garage with a trailer or something. Get the car on a trailer. Like take
And
it
he'd
out
have
of
to
there.
get past Ricky.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
Ricky
has to
Bobby.
get past Ricky Bobby. That's not gonna happen.
Bork, bork.
It's just ridiculous to think of any reason that he wouldn't want to give me the title. Like what? Other than just being lazy or something.
Right.
If something
I mean,
happened.
the-
If
yeah,
something happened to him, I'm
to
gonna
get-
It could
feel
be
really
that.
bad.
Yeah.
And before you found out that the lien had been lifted, I was thinking, well, yeah, maybe he didn't
Right.
actually have it paid off.
Yeah.
But since there's evidence
still
of that
just
being gone, then
Screwing himself
I'd like
either
to
way.
give
I don't.
People benefit of the
So do
doubt
I.
to not be like scumbags.
to a fault.
But like,
For
Me
sure.
too.
there's
and,
a
you
point in
know,
time where it's unacceptable behavior.
Live and you learn, I guess. But what are you supposed to do at this point? Is everything seemed reasonable? Everything seemed to add up, and
Have you tried to call him from anybody else's phone?
Yep.
Everybody else's phone.
Sounds
Work
like,
phone, Elise's phone, Derek's phone, my phone. It does different things. There's no pattern. It rings on some. It doesn't on others.
I think that's just
The voicemail
provider.
box is full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Huh. Well, I mean,
Well,
that kind
mine
of
used to go straight to voicemail, and now it rings. So I really don't know what's happening. Message is sent. We'll see if we get anything back.
Hey, guy.
No,
You should
hey,
respond
hey girl.
to Kevin
Hey, girl.
or girl or whoever person with title.
I
Come on,
don't.
man.
I don't care who it is, but
That's not cool though.
yeah.
It's like a
not.
total bummer. It's a buzzkill. You got a car that you were looking forward to building, and you're afraid to touch
Well.
it because you don't, not technically yours yet.
Right. So,
It's unfortunate. Hopefully he'll respond. Hopefully he's not dead.
but that's all that's happened since Monday when we last recorded.
Okay.
Hasn't been much of a
Yeah, that's
much
true.
of a time between the last time
Yeah, we were playing a little bit of catch up.
Yeah.
I think we're back on track.
Yeah, I think so.
Ish.
Yeah. Episode whatever the number this is.
Oh
'cause
yeah, we
stopped
didn't
counting.
even try
Nope.
this time.
We stopped
No
trying.
numbers. No numbers.
Nope. It's the new episode.
Mm-hmm.
Any updates, Will?
Got a lot of shit sitting around here.
Yeah, it's a problem right now. Not a whole lot of updates. I found out that I went to go put like the brake levers and cables on the XR80, and then realized whatever front wheel or hub that is on it is not an XR80 hub, so the brake cable doesn't work. So then just another thing I need to order.
Yeah.
I started to take apart that bottom end that Mike gave me for the Moto 4. And then you later mentioned that, like, oh, yeah, why don't you just swap over the whole bottom end? And I'm like, well, hadn't really thought of that. And I was
Yeah.
kind of assuming that you wanted the thing back for stuff. I don't know. So, anyways, the little flywheel puller thing came in.
Nice.
Works mint.
Still need
It
to
looks
borrow
so
that
good.
from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, by the time you pull all the good stuff out of it, it's probably better to just have a complete bottom end.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
It's worth taking a look at that one, at least the clutches and stuff.
Clutches look good.
clutches
Although
look good.
there was a bunch of fluff and stuff in there. Like, there's all kinds of chunks. I don't know where they came from.
That's
There's
how mine
chunks
was.
in
When
there,
I
though.
when I did mine, it was the same way. There was chunks of clutch.
You have to
just
look at
all
it. I
over the
saved
place.
some of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, plucking away at that. I should not be doing that right now, but
Well,
it is what it is.
What should you be doing?
Putting that
Mazda
thing
things.
together to sell. I actually did make some progress. I talked to my buddy Show earlier this week, and I'm just going to buy that ACT clutch off of him
There you go.
and move forward with that. But the transmission that I was going to put in it does have the bad second gear issue. So good news is he does have an extra speed 3 transmission laying around, and the gear stacks are the same. So I'm just going to steal.
Oh, you could take it apart and then swap it over.
Yeah, it still sucks. I have to take it apart, but it's not that hard. It's
Right.
just a mess. So do that, jam it together, and then I think I'm done. So
Yeah, just, transmission tear apart and rebuild.
I mean, it's already
It's not
out.
that bad.
It's not that
Yeah.
bad.
Just add it to the list.
Yeah, I know. It's just
Oh, are we going back to project management again?
No,
yeah. I'm just the
he's managing
example of what
just-
not to do.
Just poorly.
Yeah.
I feel like. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I got the new pull starter cable for the ATC.
The 30-foot of cable that you ordered.
Yeah, you want some? Yeah.
for sure.
That works now. Took the carb apart. There was a lot of goo in there
Yeah.
for a new carb. I don't know whether it was in there already or if it came from
So
something
you fed it out of
else.
the tank into it.
Well, the tank was very dry, and I cleaned it out a lot. So maybe, I don't know. Regardless, that should be better. I still need to take off the head though, and replace that gasket that it's missing. So
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Okay.
I'm stressed.
Clearly.
Yeah,
Oh, that's okay.
there's a lot of things going on. I want to play with everything at the same time, and I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you play with everything, then when it's actually time to play with everything, you're not going to have anything.
Right now's the time to play
Sorta.
with things, which is the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
starting to get worried.
That's not true.
necessarily
That's how I am,
true.
too.
If
I
Kevin
took the
says
Moto
Grapple
4.
Beast tomorrow, I'll be like, I want to,
Right.
I want to be good to go.
If Kevin says Brapplebee's tomorrow, I'll say sad face, and I'll say, I'm okay. Or I'll come and ride one of you guys' extra ones.
I'm starting to get
There's some
worried
spares
about
over here.
Right?
starting
Oh,
to
yeah,
get
got a
worried
hole.
about getting my insulation and heater up in time for winter. I'm kind of
Yeah.
like,
No, none of that
You have a
negativity.
ton of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine.
It's not even August.
I know.
You have
Just,
like-
there's a
you
lot
have
of
like
things happening.
You have like
Yeah.
at least 3 months.
You have like a day until it's August.
I got the Colorado trip, and then I got Tail of the Dragon,
Yeah.
and then Grid Life, and
When is Tail of Dragon?
September
8th.
10th.
18th.
Okay.
10th.
I thought it was later.
I know that
We
I
did
opted
this the
out
other
of
day.
it.
Yeah, no,
Did
you
you guys
just-
already register a place?
Yeah, same place.
I wasn't there last year with you guys.
Well,
right.
it's the same
I know
place
I
as
keep-
last year.
It's the same
no.
place though.
Okay.
Regardless.
Well, no. I wasn't sure.
Regardless, these things all cost money, and
Right.
something.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
already
have a lot
paid
of
for.
right
It's
now.
like you'd never spent it.
Right, but I have
Just
to
let me fly there.
drive there, eat there, drink there, all that stuff. So
You have to do all those things at home too.
right. Usually, it costs less money though.
It's true.
Yeah.
I just bought tires,
Yeah.
more tires, because
Didn't
I'm
have
gonna,
to do that.
I'm gonna have to buy more tires on top of that.
How many did you get?
Just 4 for now.
Yeah.
I still want to try out the 245s on the E36. So
What are you at now?
I tried. Well, I ran through a set of 265s
Right.
of the Kendas, and it was
Pretty
kind
good.
of a lot for that car. Just
Too much grip.
had to clutch kick to keep things going around
Okay,
slower
yeah.
corners, and it's a little bit too much grip.
Yeah.
So hopefully a little bit less tire will be better. But
Huh.
at $95 a piece, they're worth it, but they're expensive.
Yeah. Where do you order them from?
I got these from Simple Tire, but they're pretty much the same cost everywhere.
Yeah, I think I paid $90 a piece from Walmart. and
some
then,
reason, the
tax and stuff came out
265s
the same. Like,
The 265s are cheaper.
yeah, 265s are cheaper. Yeah.
Huh.
So I don't know. Whatever.
Well.
Yeah, because there's only 2 more Midville events for the rest of the year.
Really?
Yeah. They didn't change their schedule
I'm just
for
gonna go on a
anything,
limb
so
here and say
like,
this summer kind of sucked.
yeah, everything got
Yeah.
crammed right into the end. So right. Sorry, didn't want to interrupt Mike's updates, but
No,
I haven't done any updates yet.
Yeah, not yet.
well, I didn't
He
want
hasn't
to interrupt
begun.
getting
I feel
2
like
Max updates.
I feel like the aura today is everyone's like kind of bummed out. Everybody's like, I don't
I don't
like
know.
it.
We're
I don't
worried
know, I
that
don't
like
like-
we're running out of time for everything,
I mean, there's
even though
always-
nothing's actually going
Well,
on.
that's
and-
false.
Dave's starting to
Because
wonder when it's going to
start-
be fall.
When it starts to get cold, I mean, there's plenty of time. You can ride mini quads all year round.
That's true.
Oh yeah, mini quads are good.
Yeah. And there's plenty of time to do. Well, unless it snows a lot, and then it's a little bit difficult.
Yeah,
to do.
it was about there's like a 2 foot limit on the quads.
It's like
2
a
foot.
foot.
I say it's like
well,
It's like a
6
foot
inches.
of powder, and if it's not powder, it's
yeah, but
over
if
at,
you
like,
spend
3
enough time
inches.
packing it down, it can be okay.
I
That's a
mean,
pit-
or if
that's a
you
lot.
drive up and down a driveway in the middle of Michigan and make it all ice for the entire time that we're there.
Break some ribs.
Yeah, let's not do that again.
I feel like we should post that clip on the CAD cars.
That still exists.
It does still
man,
exist.
that
I
is
have it.
such a good
I
clip.
have it.
Please
post
post it.
Post it now.
It's an inaccurate noise.
No, it's a completely accurate
Dude,
noise, and it's
no.
terrifying.
It's
Yeah.
gotta be like my leg coming over the plastics that makes that noise, because it wasn't me.
I feel like we need enhance.
Dude,
Yeah.
I don't know. I watched that a bunch of times.
I watched
hard
it, but
not to
it was
watch.
also me. So I feel like I have some inside scoop here.
I don't know if we went over this fully on the podcast before, but it is going to get posted on the CAD to Cars, and to give it some reference, similar to the Brapplepalooza, we were just decided to start making timed laps on the Moto 4.
Right, which
And-
was supposed to be just kind of leisurely driving around.
Yeah. But it was late,
Yeah.
Some beers were consumed,
Yeah.
and
which we do not condone.
No.
We were on like full minute laps down the
It was-
driveway.
they
Oh,
were
it was
long
great.
laps.
We were
They were
all
We're like,
booking it.
all right, go. He goes over the hill, and you're like, okay, maybe you'll come back, maybe you won't.
Yeah.
Well, it's so misleading too, because there was a lot of snow on the ground, and then as soon as line of sight was about as far as you could even hear.
Yeah.
So as soon as we couldn't see you anymore, you couldn't even hear anymore. So who
Right,
knows? You could have been down a hill at less than 50 feet away, or you
Right.
could just be gone. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to post it. I'll wait till this episode.
So, anyways,
is out,
yeah,
and
he
then
comes
we'll post
back booking it down the icy driveway downhill, and then with a huge bank at the end of it.
Yeah.
And,
it. Which we had
Inadvertently-
tried to turn into a ramp beforehand
That-
because we were trying to go in the backyard.
it didn't work.
Didn't
Then
work.
Mike
It
made
didn't
it a
work.
ramp.
It didn't
I
work
made
the
it-
first time.
Yeah,
Mike
with
did
enough
successfully
speed,
ramp it,
I did make it over.
and also got intimate with a tree.
I barely,
Your ribs were hurting for like a few weeks after that.
yeah, it was just a bruise. Everything's fine. It looks like it's my head, though, and it wasn't.
It does look like it was your head.
Yeah.
I mean, in person, it looked like it was your head.
Right.
And I was sure that you were dead.
No, and it was definitely doing a lot of rhyming.
You're welcome.
It's definitely not the old noggin. Definitely had a bruise the shape of my arm in my chest, kind of. It was just my own elbow got in the way.
Slow mo,
No, not now, Dave.
He's doing it. It's happening.
bro. It was
we
your
just-
fucking head. It was clearly your head.
It was not my head.
I don't know. Make sure to check it out on CAD to Cars and drop in the comments what you think Mike hit.
We can make a montage out of it. We're sorry. We're not.
Oh, like the one they do with the Fox
Yeah.
movie, Century, whatever, Fox Century thing.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
20th Century Fox, yeah.
Back in the old Vine
That would be good.
days.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rip
no.
Vine.
A bit of a throwback.
Anyway, Mike, what are your updates since Monday?
Since Monday, I discovered that the voltage regulator in the Trials bike has created some sort of goo instead of electricity, and no longer operates the fan like it's supposed to. But some sort of stuff was dripping out of it that ate its own case somehow. So that's cool. I got to find one of those now. But otherwise, my stuff came in. I'm going to try to do the old trans filter flush different fluid scenario on the old truck this weekend. Hopefully that makes it work. I don't think it will. So I've already priced out some torque converters. Don't want to do that.
Priced them out. You haven't purchased it already? You don't got much time here.
I got a week and a half. It's going to take me an afternoon to throw a converter, and it's pretty easy. The transmission's really tiny.
Yeah, assuming you don't have any other speed bumps.
A week
No,
and a half.
None of that. None of that.
You need to finish it. It's allowing time for hurdles here and some time for test drives.
Right. So I can do the trans thing this weekend. I'll know
You
by
haven't ordered a converter yet.
No, I can do the filter and flush and bump the line pressure, see if that fixes it.
Okay.
Because if, for all I know, the filter's just super plugged and the line pressure's down, and that's why it's acting goofy. There's a chance.
It's a possibility.
Extremely unlikely.
Yeah.
And knowing my
'Cause then
luck,
it would be slipping
definitely
all the
not the
time,
case.
but, yeah.
But I have to try it.
Yep.
It's the cheapest one to try.
Mhm.
So I'll do that this weekend. I made a little bung to weld into the transpan because there's no drain in those, which is idiotic. So now it's going to have a drain. But yeah. Then, yeah, if it's slipping, then I can order a converter locally and probably put it in Monday or Tuesday.
Do you have to hook up the trailer to make it slip?
No, I've now that I know the symptom, I can sort of replicate it on the street.
Okay,
So,
that's good. Less work.
yeah, less work.
Are you're still planning on going to Connecticut?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the time crunch for this one. Also, I have to swap the brake masters on the drift car from the front one to the rear one, and then re-bleed the brakes, which is going to be awful, and redo the clutch line with all bigger lines to hopefully make it not be super delay valvey. So
I didn't think it was that bad, but
it's bad.
I didn't even notice it, honestly.
It's bad.
I only did one lap, but still.
Yeah. It's bad. So it won't take that long. Other than bleeding clutches is the worst thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of a pain.
No volume, but yeah. Otherwise, I haven't done anything.
But hopefully that changes this weekend. Get some stuff done.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We'll have
You
some,
rode the
well,
Helix.
hopefully we'll have some
Oh,
substantial
that's true. I
updates,
did
yeah.
take the first inaugural Helix ride to work today.
Yeah.
That was
had
the
it for a
first
bit.
time.
First time I've taken it to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
To work, yeah. Just because, like,
We'll
it's,
post that, too.
it's
We're
not
gonna-
great on the highway.
Yeah.
And then, like, you have to get up earlier if you're taking back roads, and that hasn't been the priority. So, yeah. But, yeah, had a glorious ride on the way in.
I will say it does look it's quite funny to watch.
You'll have to take it for a rip.
Honestly.
It's pretty good.
I don't know if my top heaviness will help with that.
Oh, it's what they're made for.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the best thing ever.
Yeah, it's what they
I feel like
created
It's
for.
actually
I feel
very rarely you see smaller people on them.
Yes, we are
Really?
the smallest you'll ever see on a Helix.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I spotted a wild one in Wadsworth.
That's
a
what they
little
do.
ways back.
The old timers, they trade their gold wings in and decide they want scooters, and
Yeah,
it's the ex Goldwing riders.
I get it. It's like
Yeah.
you barely have to put your feet down too. It's great. But we had some overheating issues on the way here, trying to do the topped out highway run. So we could do some investigation. I think I have some inklings as to what it might be. Mostly that it's made in China, but
Right. that pinched coolant line. running
yeah,
up to the radiator.
some of it's self-induced. We'll see what's going on.
Yeah, being as the whole motor is on the swing arm on those, so like the coolant lines, they have to
Yeah, they have to
Kinda
flop around and
flop
then
around a bit. So
lower in the back like 5 inches. Put that coolant hose into a
yeah,
little bit of a sticky situation. So
that could do it.
that's my thoughts.
A little less flow.
Yeah. Or it's just junk.
It's fine.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. Either way. I think it needs more airflow through the radiator too.
Probably couldn't hurt.
Probably need the China front cover.
I had it.
Yeah, throw
It's
that
awful.
out.
Yeah.
It looks so bad.
I'll cut vents in the wheel well and all sorts of everything else before I put that thing back on.
huh?
Okay, well,
that's
on
it.
to direct injection, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do we
Gasoline
start?
direct injection.
Where do
Well, I guess we have to
start?
go over what
gasoline,
direct
not-
injection is.
Yeah,
Not
so
diesel.
we are specifying GDI.
Right.
Right.
For short.
Principles are very similar.
Yeah, but obviously diesel direct injection has been around for a very long time.
Right.
And gas has been around for, I don't know, maybe like 15 years now?
Yeah, probably. Around
Probably about that,
15.
say 05-ish.
15.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's probably been developed a lot sooner than that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you don't really start seeing it in production cars till around then, I would say.
Right.
Maybe a little earlier. Maybe somebody will probably prove us wrong.
Probably. Hey, prove us wrong.
Yeah.
We can't be that far off.
So,
No.
but it does actually work in a similar way
Yeah.
to diesel stuff.
Yeah, essentially, the benefits are you can run a significantly leaner mixture without pre-detonation because you're injecting the fuel closer to top dead center
Yep.
so that it can't ignite prematurely. You're injecting it like just before it should ignite.
Well, let's start with what it actually is.
Right.
So,
Well, yeah,
there's
you're
the
fine.
traditional injection method before that was port fuel injection, or PFI,
Right.
where you would inject fuel into the intake manifold runner so it can atomize and mix with the air before it gets into the cylinder, and then when the cylinder pulls in air, it's already got the fuel-air mixture pre-mixed, essentially, versus a direct injection where we're now directing fuel straight into the cylinder It's kind of hanging out right next to your spark plug type of thing. And that's how, diesels have worked for a long time.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I think one of the biggest hurdles with like getting that to actually function was a fuel pump setup,
Yeah,
right?
line pressure.
Well, the line,
Which has been a problem.
I think it's
diesels
temperature
figured it out,
related to the line pressure, because like the
I have an
temperatures are
interesting-
much higher in like a gasoline fired engine versus
Yeah.
diesel, so that's kind of the hurdle.
I have an interesting experiment to talk about at some point that I did at a co-op when I worked at Delphi there about flash boiling, if you know what that is.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, okay. Wouldn't think you would, but
I would like to learn, is what I'm saying.
okay.
Not right- maybe
We'll
not
get
right
into
now.
it. Let's
Okay,
talk about cover the basics
Yeah, let's
first,
talk
and then
about
I'll
it.
go into that.
I like to learn.
So yeah, you want benefits? We're talking about benefits.
Benefits, yeah, you
kinda
can
all
run
over
a
the place
leaner,
right now.
leaner mixture.
Well, we
getting
had
there,
to get the fundamentals out,
So,
right?
well,
Right,
fundamentals are so essentially the biggest differences between port injection and direct injection are obviously you're injecting directly into the combustion chamber,
Right.
which means you need much higher fuel pressure behind the injector
Yeah,
to
to
override combustion chamber pressure.
Usually like 3,000 to 4,000 psi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as low as 2, but yeah, as high as 4.
Yeah.
Usually cam-driven fuel pumps required for that. I think it's required for that. I don't think there's any other option.
Yeah,
Currently.
it's driven by the engine in some way.
Right,
Yeah,
so you
it's
have
a
a low-pressure
mechanical
pump.
fuel pump.
In the fuel tank still, which feeds fuel up to the rail, and then cam-driven fuel pump will bump that pressure up.
Same
And
as a
then-
diesel.
And then so I mean that's kind of where the differences start in terms of both functionality and tunability. I guess injection angle, injection timing, and all that stuff becomes a lot more controllable.
Timing's obviously a lot more critical because port injection timing doesn't really matter that much. But
Especially because even in the 90s you had
Batch fire.
batch fire, both spark and injection, or so what do they call it? Semi-sequential, whatever you want to call it, where you could just kind of fire it at the back of a closed valve and it would just kind of figure it out and that was okay. But obviously that's not even an option with
Right.
with
they
direct
basically went
injection
this
stuff, so-
direction for emissions purposes because you're
Yeah.
significantly more efficient with it.
Mhm.
That's
With-
kind of the
with-
main benefit.
With direct injection?
Well,
Would- yeah.
it's actually end up with
It's a lot cleaner, isn't it?
Well, no, you can run it leaner. It is
Right.
less
Oh, you're
clean.
using-
There's more unburned hydrocarbons in
Okay.
a direct inject engine because it doesn't have a chance to atomize before it gets into the cylinder.
Okay.
But you can run it leaner.
Or you could run it significally leaner. I was seeing 30 to 1 on
Yeah, I mean,
like that
so,
part throttle stuff.
So the
Wow.
thing about like fuel atomization is, there's kind of engineered and expected differences in air-fuel ratio within the combustion chamber. It varies pretty wildly, especially in direct injection stuff, as to basically where the flame propagates. They expect all these things. Chamber design is all works around that, and then the spark plug is positioned very critically
Right.
depending on that, and so it allows you to ignite the mixture, basically closer to the injector, closer to the spark plug at a ideal air-fuel ratio, but surrounding areas closer to piston walls and everything are going to be a lot leaner.
Right.
So
That's why
there's
spray
pros to that in
pattern-
terms of like unburned hydrocarbons, but also cons to that in terms of NOx.
Now,
Yeah.
I know there's a huge benefit from a tuning aspect, right?
Sort of. Pros and
Kinda,
cons.
yeah, it's
Really?
that's
Yeah.
kind of it's a major
It's-
hurdle.
It's hard to
Okay.
mess with.
Yeah.
Really?
You,
Well, because the Gen 3 TSIs, those are, and the TSIs before that were
Mhm.
direct injection,
well,
correct?
TSIs, FSIs are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Basically, like it's much harder to find a larger injector
yeah.
because you
It's
lose
not impossible.
resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like idle quality and trying to run it very lean at low throttle percentages and stuff like that, where you don't need very much fuel. Once you put a bigger injector in, you start losing control unless you go through the high pressure fuel pump and tune a lot of factors inside of that.
Right.
It's also there's also very specific spray patterns with these injectors.
Right.
They're not just like this angle and this cone shape. It's like 3 cones coming out to better spread the fuel,
Which
and then the
depends
cylinder's
on
designed around that. And
Right. It depends on piston top from what
Right.
I was seeing earlier. Like they're kind of forming a pocket in the center.
the
so
injectors
that,
themselves also have a multi directional pattern.
Yeah, they do, but they're trying to aim that at the surface of the piston where it makes the most sense. Because
Right.
even like a port injection motor, like fuel near the cylinder walls doesn't really burn, so it kind of just sticks near the walls.
Unused space almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like wall wetting features you start seeing within
Yeah.
some standalones,
Yeah.
which can be beneficial in some ways, and
Can screw your motor and others.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
So-
wash out rings. You can do a bunch of bad things too. So
That's really bad.
Yeah.
So tunability, it's generally not there. I mean, once you run out of duty cycle on direct injection, there's not a whole lot you can do. You know, the high pressure side of the, similar to diesels on that is you just had a
I've never
revelation.
had this, but this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like them
Uh-oh.
sours.
Yeah, this is great. It's like sour fruit punch.
Okay.
Sorry.
Dave just had his mind blown
Anyway,
by some beer. So,
I have
oh yeah, that's why I put
taken
it
an
there.
urban artifact from Will.
Yeah, good
It's like
stuff.
the gadget.
We were
Pretty,
down in Cincinnati.
Yeah, sorry, not the side
Hit 'em
of
up.
but here my ADHD kicked in.
That's fine. No, but the high pressure side, similar to diesel stuff, is pretty mechanical for the most part. There's really not a whole lot you can do in terms of. You can do some in terms of commanded pressure, but most of the time that's limited by factory software, anyways. And then once you're out of duty cycle, especially if you want to run stuff like E85,
Yeah.
you run out of duty cycle
Well, what's-
really fast.
Okay.
what's interesting to me is, so like diesel guys, granted it's been a lot of development time in it, but you can
Yeah.
change internal pump elements pretty easily
Right.
to up that fuel quantity.
Yeah.
Granted, there's no like true lean for a diesel either, so like your
Yeah.
parameters are pretty forgiving.
Yeah.
But they're able to play with those elements to try to play with
Like,
that.
oh, does it make smoke? No.
Right.
All right, turn it up.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of like part of the, I don't know, the tuner's downside to like the development of that technology was they figured out how to like make that package smaller and fit it and just on a gas engine essentially, and it just I don't know, you lost that tunability to it.
Yeah.
I think.
Right. But
So-
it's gonna. I'm sure someone's starting to look into stuff like. I'm curious.
Well, they have to be because
Like-
we're
Yeah,
15.
I mean,
we're
it-
15 years in,
right.
and I mean we're still kind
There's
of
some options out there.
yeah.
there's workarounds out there.
How
but-
There's
how
some, there's
expensive
some
are those
higher
options, though?
volume pumps.
Yeah, I know. Well, I've seen personally, like on our website at least for the 2OTs and stuff like that. There's, Autotech makes an upgraded pump.
high pressure pump
Yeah.
internals. Yeah,
And you could
a
pump up
handful of
base
other
pressure a
ones.
little bit
Yeah.
too, and kind of get like a little.
not much,
Okay.
but yeah.
That works for diesels up to a certain point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It gets you a little bit. I guess the mechanical limit. There's a mechanical limit to it, so it's not like a
Yeah.
tune limit. You can have it commanded up until your limit. So yeah, you
Ah,
can
see.
raise it up until
yeah, there's only so
You
much
can't
can
just
make.
go ahead and grab some direct injection injectors and
No.
just some big. You can't just go.
I
I'm gonna
think
put big injectors.
As
in
far
this.
as I know, I mean, I know there is some aftermarket stuff out there, but aside from maybe finding injectors meant for something else that might fit,
Yeah.
That's how it started with the diesels. Like,
Sure.
there's only a couple manufacturers
Oh,
of
of
pump.
course.
They put them on a bunch of different engines, and they were tuning it with the internal elements. So once you figured out, hey, this commercial application with the same element or same pump is able to, you can rob those and put them in like this Mercedes diesel or whatever, and
Right.
up the
Ooh.
power quite a bit.
So
Like-
there's another route you can go also, and that's adding port injection to
Yeah.
a direct inject.
Like
Yeah.
80s and 90s piggyback style with the old school batch fire stuff. That's what they used to do in early turbo setups.
yeah,
N54 world has come pretty far on that because there's no other good solution on their injectors there, the direct injectors. So
Right.
it's been a pretty popular option. Of
And it actually
just
works really
adding-
well. It's a whole secondary module that
Yeah.
kind of just piggybacks off it. It's just messing with injectors. So there's a company. I don't actually know if that's the name of the company or if it's like under a parent company called like a split second controller.
okay,
Basically, you can take really any old injectors you want, junkyard, Bosch, anything, jam them in, your manifold or fuel rail, or not fuel rail, like if you have a manifold spacer or something like that, that
Right.
adds those bungs in there for you. And basically, it ties into the existing injector harness for trigger.
right,
And then you usually tie it into like a MAF if you have one
Okay.
to either trigger at a certain voltage, and then via tuning you would just limit your direct injection injectors to a
Right.
certain pulse width from here on out, or do like a Hobbs switch. So use your direct injectors up until you start getting into boost. Then you hold them at a current,
Okay.
constant fueling, and then make up for everything else with port injection. Which another cool thing you can do with that then is you could run it off of your in-tank pump as well. You could run it off of meth. You could run it off like a separate
Separate fuel
E85,
source,
whatever you
yeah.
want. So that's also really cool.
Yeah.
That is cool. Yeah.
Piggybacks have a bad name from back in the 80s and 90s because
Right.
they were
I don't want to call it
extremely-
that. It's
I
like
know.
it's more
It
like a
is piggyback
standalone fuel
system.
controller, but it is piggybacking in a way. So
Right, but
it's
it
neat
has
to
it
call
is
that.
significantly more advanced now.
Yeah.
Like back in the 80s and 90s, you'd put like a Hobbs switch directly connected to an injector that just holds it open over like 7 psi, and that was your tuning,
Yeah.
which is pretty wild.
120%
Hey,
duty
it
cycle.
works.
Yeah.
It,
I mean,
it
it
got
works,
you
but it
by.
doesn't
A
work
lot
well,
of people blew stuff up, but
Yeah.
this is significantly improved over that.
Yeah.
But it isn't. Obviously, in an ideal world, you'd have just one fuel management solution. But
Yeah.
in lieu of that, for this type of thing, it is much simpler, and you can make a lot more power with some sort of supplemental fuel like that.
Yep. Huh. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
More you know.
There's a couple downsides.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Also,
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I knew that you could add injectors, like port injection for that stuff, but I also wasn't sure how you would go about doing that. But that makes sense.
Yeah. It's some
Well,
stuff.
especially if there's such a
lot
limit.
is kind of required to do
Yeah.
it. Which
As
is,
long
which
as they
kinda
don't
sucks.
fight, that's kind of the thing. You're not like the ECU is not seeing some sort of different air fuel ratio and then trying to trim the direct injection back because of it.
Right.
Mhm.
It's those type of
Yeah,
parameters.
that
are
all does
difficult.
definitely have to be compensated for.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
because you have to. I mean, at least in newer cars, if you did that, you'd have to marry the connection between the two at least, so that one doesn't, fault over the other. Cause
Yeah, and then you have to have fail safes too,
Right.
Because if
if
you
you
want to
lean
call it a
out, right?
piggyback, if you will, but if
Yeah.
something happens to your port injection and you're relying on that to make
Yeah.
the power you're making, I mean, in the middle of a pool, if it takes a shit, I mean,
Yeah, you better hope it cuts boost back.
yeah,
yeah, because if it doesn't, this is boom.
yeah.
Kablooey.
Not
That's always the thing that scared me about like adding meth, and I like the
Yeah.
idea of adding meth or water injection for cooling.
Yeah.
I just don't like the idea of it for like supplemental fuel.
Yeah,
Even for cooling, I can see both sides of it. Like over a certain amount of power that you're relying on it for, it should be controlled through the same standalone or integrated in
Yeah.
a way
Yeah.
that has some safety features.
I mean, they do have some safety features, but like the AEM kits and everything, really, I think the only it's like a low fuel tank thing. Like,
Right.
They're like, yeah, you're almost out. That's the safety feature, and that's
Right.
about it. So that's scary. But a lot of benefits to all of it. So I guess another con that we haven't really hit on in terms of direct injection stuff is PCV, carbon buildup,
Ugh,
and
Carbon
intake
buildup,
valves.
yeah.
So it was never a typical maintenance thing to have your valves cleaned before the existence of direct injection, and I'm sure Kevin can attest to that.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Have you cleaned your valves?
I did.
Yeah.
They weren't that bad. It's already been done once on that car, so round 2 was not that bad.
Yeah.
But so basically, normally with the port injection engine, your fuel is being sprayed at the back of your valves, your intake valves, and that cleans them off.
Right. Fuel has a lot of detergents in it. So
Yep.
Right. So when you take the injectors out of the intake manifold and you put them in the cylinder, there's nothing to clean the crankcase ventilation gases
Yep.
or any of the carbon buildup that comes with that off of the intake valves. So it just builds up, and I've seen some really bad stuff.
I've seen some pretty grody
You
looking
get,
ones, yeah.
yeah.
you're really hurting your engine performance if you're not cleaning those every 50,000 miles, depending on the engine. I don't know. I also tried
Depends
to
on your driving style and all that too.
It depends on the engine, because I mean the N54s get pretty bad. But at the same time, I was like, oh, I should probably do Elise's car. I'll make a thing for it, whatever, and try to clean the valves. And took the intake manifold off. Hyundai Velosters, barely any buildup.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know
it
what
probably
they're
has
doing.
a lot to do with like oil separators and
Car hasn't
how
been
well
touched
those
for
work.
100,000 miles. Barely any buildup.
Yeah. I think it's turbo quality, PCV
Yeah.
efficiency. Because like some of those tiny turbos, you're losing some oil out of those.
And it's not just oil either. It's also so now your intake valve with the extra unburned hydrocarbons is spending time inside the cylinder and collecting some.
Right. There is a little
Carbon from
blowback
there.
there.
Yeah.
But. And just there's stuff in the air. Like you're
Yeah,
getting
it's just-
some buildup regardless. But
Right.
I think the majority is PCV and turbo related.
So yeah, I mean that in turn turns into kind of a pro for adding port injection to your direct injection motor later on. Is that now you have kind of that detergent, that cleaner on the backside of your intake valves, and I've witnessed that firsthand. People running port injection E85,
Yep.
like minty.
Yeah.
It works.
So
So
probably not only does it keep them clean, but you get more power.
right,
If you
it's
need
win-win. Aside from spending money.
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Well, but you do it once and maintain it to your need. But, So what? Go ahead, Kevin.
No. You had a question?
Yeah.
So-
Questions.
Does anyone have a reference point of like what, like one of the early direct injections was? Like what car, make, model?
I mean,
engine?
honestly, like you said
GTI.
earlier, the
Okay.
the GTIs are
Well, yeah, because
probably
2000,
pretty early in terms of-
2010 is the
N54
Yeah, and
started in
54 is
2008.
that was I believe the first BMW motor with direct injection.
Yeah.
So
these are 2006 motors for the Mazda Speed stuff.
and they're
So,
direct injection.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's when it became mainstream and
right.
really started to roll out across all brands pretty much was
Right.
mid 2000s.
Huh.
makes a lot of sense from an OE perspective.
Yeah.
From an
From
aftermarket
a- yeah.
perspective, it's additional hurdles, but
yeah. From a manufacturer standpoint, it makes complete sense. But I
It's
guess
your story, Kevin.
from a
It's
more
like the same.
from a more efficient
What?
standpoint, I mean, given the EPA has regulations. on
Yeah,
certain
it's
things,
like,
so
there's a bunch of push for, some emissions related stuff that's
Right.
like, in the 70s and 80s when they got rid of carburetors.
yeah.
emissions related and fuel economy. That was also the big push.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's some drastic improvements there.
Yeah.
What late
Being
80s
able to lean
was,
burn.
was port injection?
What?
Late 80s port injection?
Depends on where you're looking at. Some stuff in the 70s.
Okay.
Yeah. We're just getting closer and closer to that spark plug. I think it's about as close as we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Just wait for the fuel
Well,
injection
until
spark
it does.
plug.
Yeah. It actually sprays and sparks at the same time.
Actually,
Oh.
I forget what they're calling that,
Uh-oh.
but that kind of exists. They're having like a whole pre-mixture, pre-combustion chamber. That,
Oh well, diesels have a pre-chamber. That's pretty common.
yeah, but they're doing that in gas stuff now.
That makes
I think
sense.
It's pretty new.
Interesting.
I'm not super
You know what's
educated
funny?
on it, but I know it exists.
You know my Yamaha motorcycle?
Uh-huh.
That has a pre-chamber
Really?
carbureted setup. There's separate ports in the head that are supposed to draw in a super rich mixture to the
Right,
center
right.
of the combustion chamber. So then that ignites first and then ignites the super lean mixture outside of it because you
It's like
can't ignite that with a spark.
secondary injection.
So you're using that little small containment of a much richer mixture to ignite the leaner mixture around it.
That's exactly how this is working too, and it's becoming. It sounds like it's going to be kind of commonplace in the OEM world soon. But can you imagine like Yamaha engineer in like the
1982.
80s or whatever? We're like, yeah, this is a cool thing, and now it's coming out and everybody's talking about it. He's like, see, I tried to tell you guys,
26. Well,
Yep, they brought it in production
you
in '82.
almost 40 years ago, right? It's pretty wild how you can trace some of that stuff back so far.
Yep. And they were
and the
doing
poor
with
bastard who
carburetors
thought
and
of
like
it.
strange things. It's
Right.
wild.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We're just along for the ride and trying to figure out how to make
What-
our stuff go
what's
fast
next,
with all this
though?
goofy technology.
Why?
Electric.
I
Yeah,
know,
like-
yeah, no, I know. We had this
Getting rid of it
conversation already,
completely.
but at the same time, like, if they can continue to improve the gasoline engine and make it cleaner, like, why?
It's on its way out.
Yeah, it's a
I know-
difficult
I know
thing.
You're
it's
never
not-
going to sell it to
I
the
know,
guys who
they're-
argue that it's fossil fuel. So.
Yeah, they're hanging on to it by
Yeah.
a thread. I give it the next.
And still, if you
15
think about
years
it,
or
I
so.
think the
Ripping
modern internal combustion engine is still only like technically 25% efficient.
Yeah, it's something bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad with heat losses and everything factored in. It's like 25% efficient, which is bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
So,
Yeah. I
But we love
remember
it so
being
much.
I
At
know.
one point, I was skeptical about like how much, nuclear energy or whatever it was, whatever fuel we were using to make electricity. How much did that take versus
right? Are you
how
just
much is the
passing one
car-
thing for another type
Right.
of thing?
and electric cars are significantly more efficient.
It drives me
Yeah.
crazy because you could make that argument just about towards anything. And, my biggest gripe personally with electric power is what it costs in terms of not only, pollution, but resource to like make a battery.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Batteries
100%.
have a lifespan, and they're made of much more precious metals.
Before you get into that, before we get
Yeah,
completely
let's
down
go.
some other road, I want to.
I didn't even get to my point.
Sorry, I
It's
know,
okay.
but
I
You're
feel
right.
you,
You're right.
Will.
That's
know.
a
What are we
pretty
gonna do with all
deep-
these batteries when they're
deep
dead?
rabbit hole?
I gotta,
I keep
I gotta
seeing
tell
that.
you my
Not
Delphi
even that.
story.
I was not even where I was going. Oh yeah, you did have a story for us.
Yeah,
Story time.
flash boiling
Yep.
is like a big thing. So
Oh yeah, I want to learn this.
I worked at Delphi for 3 months in college.
Yep.
And they just gave me a lab. They were like, all right, I want you to investigate the effects of flash boiling on injectors. Like, how much temperature does it take? How much pressure drop does it take? So essentially, with direct injection injectors, if you are injecting into a cylinder that has a certain amount of pressure drop between the fuel and where it's going, or if the temperature difference is too much between the fuel and where it's going, or a combination of the two, you can basically take your spray pattern that is a very calculated and important thing for getting as much burn as you can,
Right.
and it just turns into a mist. It turns into a complete cloud and you lose everything. That's what they call flash boiling. It's
Right, because the
tiny
vapors,
droplets
the
are coming
vapors-
out.
Yeah, it vaporizes before it can even be combusted, right?
Right.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's a very important thing. So
Yeah.
to try to understand what conditions makes that happen for an injector development company is
Right.
important. So basically they just gave me this fire hydrant looking thing. And they're like, all right, use this and figure out how to do the rest.
Right.
So basically each end had a plexiglass or actually pretty thick glass. So it's a pressure chamber essentially.
Yeah.
But we were planning on setting up a camera so that it could shoot across and a flash on the backside so you could see the spray pattern as it's spraying and capture what's happening. So I had to make a controller that would heat the fuel to a certain temperature and also be able to pressurize and pull vacuum on the chamber while doing it, so we could understand, we could plug in whatever parameter and be like, I want 10 inches mercury vacuum and I want to inject fuel that's 150 degrees.
Huh.
I figure out what's happening and then get the camera to work at the same time, which
Yeah.
to capture the spray of an injector is
All
pretty hard to do.
All I'm seeing in my head right now is that guy on YouTube that puts clear plexiglass heads on things.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Briggs and Stratton
That's
stuff,
all- that's
and
all I can
tries to
think-
burn all kinds
and
of
I'm like
different fuels.
picturing it
Concept
in my head, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's got to be pretty close to that, or at least from the look standpoint,
Yeah.
not from a design standpoint, but
those guys do their homework on those
Oh, yeah.
injectors. There's
Oh, yeah.
a lot of research that goes into
My
them.
capstone project, kind of unrelated to the topic, but similar in engines, was injecting ethanol into EGR valves to try and decrease emissions by cooling EGR gases before they got back into the engine on turbocharged diesel engines.
huh?
Did it work?
It did. Yeah, it's pretty good. So I was just trying to figure out the limit of the amount of ethanol that you could really put in there. That also, because the problem became that actually started increasing the power of the diesel engine. So I was trying to figure out because it was the focus was strictly on emissions. So I had to figure out how to compensate for the increased power, but also let it do its emissions thing. So.
Not eat more
Yeah,
fuel.
we believe you, huh?
Dude, no.
Yeah,
Well, I was
okay.
on an engine dyno and everything. It was fun.
Accidentally.
I don't want to
made
talk
more
about it too much
power.
because it was also 9 years ago, and I kind of forget most of it. So I do know that it worked, though.
Yeah, but it made power.
It also
Which
made
was
power.
your hidden plan.
It was a
the whole time.
win-win. I mean,
Yeah.
for sure. I'd
It-
say
it
in terms
burns-
of analyzing the data and everything,
Yeah.
you kind of had to figure out how to isolate everything. But
Right. You can't go to someone and be like, well, it didn't clean it as efficiently as you wanted, but it made 35% more power.
yeah,
But sometimes people are like, yo, great.
it's good stuff. So if
Yeah.
anybody's in college, go check out. There's usually engine labs floating around,
Yeah.
and they do some cool stuff
Yeah,
in there.
good places to work.
Yeah.
You learn a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what I was going into, and
Me neither.
they're just they gave me so much freedom there. It was kind of crazy. They basically just gave me a
Oh,
whole
they were
room.
all
I'm
just
like,
doing their research
"Whatever you
there,
need.
getting funding from school.
ahead."
They didn't want to help you do your project, so they're just like, yeah, here's the tools,
Yeah.
do whatever you want. I got my own thing to
I learned
work
how to
on.
program PID controllers
Yeah.
and hook up a heater and all
But
that
either
stuff.
way, it's very useful because you can just have a bunch of stuff to play with and
Right.
figure it
Right.
out. So
Sounds like fun.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Regretting my school decision now.
Go back.
No, not at this
I'm
day
just
and
kidding. I
age.
would not recommend that.
No,
Yeah, not going back.
You had
I
one
already
chance.
I already have enough debt. I'm good. Well, God.
So do you want to
that was
continue to
like
make
a-
your
that
point
was
about
like a-
batteries and the energy that goes into
I don't
making
know.
them?
How are we doing on time? It could be a separate thing.
We're at
good.
102, an
Okay.
hour and 2 minutes.
Wow,
That's pretty good.
that is pretty good.
Well, I don't know. Do you guys want to end now? Or
Maybe
you
that could
wanna-
be a separate topic.
It could
I
be.
think it should be a separate
Yeah.
topic.
I mean, we talked about autonomous, but we didn't really talk about. We talked about it like
We didn't talk
electrical
about-
in a way there,
Yeah.
but not.
How
didn't really
efficient
focus it on.
will electric cars be, or electric automobiles?
Yeah, and the future of aftermarket electric parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did you watch the Waymo video, by the way?
No, you sent it to me, and I got the notification at an inopportune
Mm.
time, and then I looked at it and then forgot about it.
I did watch
So,
it.
well,
basically
that's how it happens.
half
Like every
watched it.
time
There
anybody texts me.
are already self-driving cars transporting people.
I did like the name.
The Waymo. It used to be the
Waymo.
Google car, and then it switched to a Waymo.
Waymo what?
This is
Waymo fun.
essentially the original
Way less fun.
Google car. So it's happening. But
Well,
fully
I know
autonomous.
that it exists, but
Okay.
are they road legal? Probably
It didn't.
not.
It didn't
No
like
freaking
sell
way.
me on it though. It's
Oh, you
close.
watched it?
Yeah, I watched.
Oh,
I
shit.
like skimmed it.
Okay.
To be fair,
They're driving on the street with passengers.
it was a pretty deserted street and pretty empty neighborhood though. Like I want to like run the test where
Yeah.
you throw the ball
gotta
in front
be
of the
like
car and
LA.
stuff.
Yeah, the
Like-
kids coming out running
Well,
into the street
okay.
and stuff
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that.
Let's consider like who said that they could ride on the road is probably like
I don't give a shit
wanna
about
see
no
all of
controlled
that.
environments.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I know, but I need to see it too.
It's got to be pretty good.
I don't have the faith.
That would be a fun job to
Now-
try
now,
and like
hey, let me
trick
ask
a
you-
trick
Well,
a
you guys-
self-driving car.
You see that Boston
You guys didn't
Dynamics
think we
things
were
where
there.
they're kicking the like
Well,
dog robot?
No, I know the technology is
It's happening.
close.
It's close. I'm still not sold on it being.
No.
It's gonna happen, but it's not. I don't think
It's
it's,
a
quite.
yeah. I got to see it to believe it kind of thing.
Yeah, well, watch a video and then do some more digging from there
Because they carried
Yeah.
3 passenger sets in it.
Now-
That was the video.
Question.
Right.
If someone came to you, or if a fully functional autonomous vehicle came to you and said, "Get in, let's go for a ride," would you guys get in and go for a ride?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, as long
I
as
mean,
they
I
had a
wanna
button
do like
to say like
120
you
or
just,
something.
just hop in and just okay, we're on our way.
I mean, as long
Yeah.
as it didn't look like it was made out of cardboard.
Well,
yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. It's
but-
got seatbelts or whatever, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
not at the hanging off the front of it or something like that. Sure.
Huh. I'm still weary about that. I don't know. I think it'd have to happen for me to actually make a decision.
Could try
As
anything
as long as
once.
there's some kind of like
yeah, I mean,
You
as
know,
long as it looks like
as
a
long
car,
as it's
got
not
safety
like
precautions.
self-aware and
That's a whole different topic.
No, I mean
all the lights turn
computers
off
are
and it's like we're going for a ride.
The door's
computers are
locked.
always going to be faster now. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I mean, how much do you trust the strange person that shows up in your Uber?
True. I don't at
yeah,
all.
that's probably
Ever.
way more sketchy if you
Yeah.
start thinking about
That
it.
is true.
Well, I guess at that point you go, would I rather be killed by this person that's an Uber driver, or would I rather be killed by this self-learning
No, that's not a
vehicle?
thought. It's whether you will be killed or not.
Yeah, no, I know.
No, I don't care who it's by.
True. Yeah,
Life's a gamble.
Life's a
Life's a
gamble.
Shout out to Cripple Creek.
Cripple Creek, the Cripple Creek, Ghost Images.
Well,
Hell no, nobody else will.
what else?
Yeah, it's okay.
Anything else, boys?
Eh,
That's it.
Do you feel like we have covered the topic of?
I don't know, Raw. Do you?
Yeah, raw guy.
Yeah, so basically,
Give us your
like,
feedback, guy.
tune to your limits with your stock injectors for now.
Yeah, honestly, I had no idea that the direct injection had a limit on the amount of fuel you could actually push through them. I actually
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
that was
Well,
something.
yeah,
that
it's
we
like
could-
any other injector. Right?
Any solenoid
With
has
enough
a duty
money,
cycle.
I bet you could get them to work with much more fuel, but
Yeah.
it's not currently cost effective.
Just
Not-
wait until
not
they
on-
come out with some kind of fuel that has like a higher energy density.
Ooh.
So it's like E85, but you don't need that much of it.
Right.
That'd be sick.
Liquid plutonium or something like that. Just jam that in there.
Yeah, highly.
Should we talk
radioactive.
about different kinds of fuel next episode?
Ooh, that could be a good one.
I like that.
There's a handful of them.
Different kinds of not only fuel, but fuel supports, I guess, like water meth and, I guess nitrous oxide could.
There's gonna be a
part
fuel
of it.
depending on your
Yeah, that is fuel.
anything. I mean,
Right.
start talking about fuel cells. Water's a fuel
Yeah.
in a way.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Paddle boat.
Who wants to close it? Anybody want to close it today? So I don't
Chicken nuggets or
Dave
fuel?
Ramble.
No, this is for your self-improvement.
My self-improvement.
Yeah, we need you to step it up here.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to this episode. Follow us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and what's the other one?
YouTube.
Matt said he's going to
I
try to
don't
get
know,
us on
Instagram?
Stitcher.
We
Yeah,
have- we have an
follow us on
Instagram.
Instagram. Leave us a message. Stay tuned for next week's episode. And goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.